The Microcosm is a weird device to try to review because it's expensive for what it is. And let's get this out of the way right now. Hologram did send me a unit for review and to keep, and I probably wouldn't have bought one for myself initially, but now I go out of my way to use it because it's really cool. The goal of this video is to show you what kind of sounds it's capable of, how it fits into my personal music production setup, and help you decide for yourself whether it'll be a game changer or just an expensive gimmick. All that being said, let's get into it. The Hologram Microcosm at its core is a reverb and delay pedal with looping capabilities, but it gets surprisingly deep from there. It was originally targeted at guitarists, but these days Hologram seems to be trying to market it more towards synth users. So I guess I'm playing right into their hands, but come on, I can't not talk about a device that makes your synths sound like this. I'm not going to go super deep into every single feature. Red Means Recording beat me to that, and I'll link his video at the end of this one, but here's the quick version. The Microcosm combines reverb, delay, and loop/glitch capabilities, like I mentioned earlier. These all feed into each other, and you've got dedicated controls to shape each of those parameters. How intense they are, how long they last, timing, all that kind of stuff. And different presets have different combinations of emphasis on these elements. That versus that glitch portion includes some beat, repeat, and stutter effects, as well as some kind of bit crusher. It's kind of hard to describe sound, but I would say that the reverb sounds lush and fairly metallic. It's not for everyone, but I do quite like it. While the reverb is omnipresent and a huge part of the device's sound, I would say that the delay is the main attraction here. The way it fills out a sound and even adds some lovely shimmer with some reversing and pitch effects is really, really nice. But the real magic comes from how all of these elements combine to create a whole greater than the sum of its parts. When you plug an instrument into this thing, it allows you to turn a single instrument into a complete soundscape. In that way, it functions less as an effect and more as accompaniment for the instrument you're playing. And this is the biggest thing I want you to take away from this video. It functions almost more as a compositional tool than simply an effect. I've played drums for most of my life, so I tend to make very beat-driven music and didn't really see myself as someone who could make ambient music. But with the Microcosm, I have found myself making these big, lush ambient soundscapes and getting lost in that process, and it's been really fun, and it's never something I thought I would get into. Simply put, it opens up new degrees of composition, at least for me personally. It got that part of my brain active and just sounds really nice. It's pretty overpowering, so I don't know if I would necessarily use it in a mix, at least not all the time, and feeding multiple instruments into it is just too much. I should also note that while it does have MIDI capabilities, plugging a groove box into it via MIDI has led to some unexpected behavior, like the play button changing the preset without me asking it to. I'm sure this could be ironed out by finagling some MIDI CCs, but let's be honest, I'm probably not going to bother with that. Like I mentioned earlier, I probably wouldn't have bought one of these for myself, but now that I've used it fairly extensively, if something happened to my unit, yes, I would buy a new one. The amount of fun I've had just plugging a synth in and noodling and creating these soundscape jams on the fly is absolutely worth it to me. Sonic exploration is one of my favorite parts of electronic music production, and this is another way for me to do that. That's my use case anyway, and I would definitely make sure you have a very clear handle on what yours is before you pull the trigger. It could also work well as an insert effect for a larger hardware setup, although if it came to using it with a DAW, I'd probably just reach for plugins instead. This pedal is a very gear acquisition syndrome inspiring device, and I don't want to steer you into something you don't actually need, but if all of those caveats and little explanations appeal to you, there's something pretty cool here. My name is Gabe Miller. Thank you so much for watching.